And that is about a 35% upside for it to get back to. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom. As always, this is not financial advice. Today I want to talk about a Bitcoin miner that did a reverse stock split today, and it seems to be causing a lot of confusion. In addition to that, they also put out a press release of some good news, in my opinion. So the company I'm talking about is Digihost Technologies. In the United States, that trades over the counter as HSSHF. And in Canada, it trades as DGHI. So again, that's Digihost. So I believe if you're in Canada, it's business as usual today. However, if you're in the United States today and you own HSSHF, in all likelihood, you're not able to trade the stock today. And if you go into your brokerage account, it may look very confusing. So I know several people have already called me. They were very alarmed and they don't know what's going on, which is a fair point because there's not much information out there. And if you go into your brokerage account, you no longer see HSSHF. You just see a string of numbers and nothing's going on and you can't buy it. So I called two different brokers that I have, just national brokers. I'm not going to mention their names, but I got similar answers. So I just want to share that with everybody. And then I want to go into the news that this company has because they actually had some really good news today. Both of the brokers that I talked to, so they confirmed this is not gone. That's the first thing. I mean, obviously when a stock ticker disappears and you can't trade the stock and none of the information is correct, it's very disturbing on your brokerage account. The first thing is they both reassured me, yes, the stock still exists, of course, which I knew, but I wanted to get confirmation on so that I could share this with everybody. So one broker told me that it's going to take a day. That reverse split is a corporate event, and that causes a series of actions on an over-the-counter that usually takes a day to catch up to itself. So that broker told me that tomorrow I should see the proper listing, I should see the stock ticker back, and I should see the new adjusted price for the stock split and my new adjusted number of shares for the stock split. And potentially tomorrow goes back to business as usual. The other broker that I talked to said something very similar, but they did say they can't guarantee it's going back tomorrow. They did say this could take a couple of days. They couldn't guarantee me when exactly things were going to go back to business as usual. So if you're in the United States, my first broker did tell me they would sell the stock. So if I want to get out of my position, I can. I'm not doing that. The stock seems to be doing fine today, and they just had some good news. And for me, Digihost is a big position. So I'm not going anywhere, but they did tell me if I wanted to, I could sell it, but I could not buy it until they go through whatever process it is that they're going through. So, and they told me they thought I would be able to buy it tomorrow. So that is not a guarantee. I talked to two different brokers, so this is all secondhand information, but I tried to do some due diligence and just see what's going on. I did get reassured that the stock is there. The information will all come back. It's just a matter of how many days is it going to take for that to happen. So hopefully that eases some minds of some people that opened up their online account and saw some very strange things. So I just want to talk for a second about why they did a reverse stock split. So they were trading at about $1.57 US dollars yesterday, and they are looking to list on the NASDAQ. So that price is too low for a NASDAQ listing. So they did a 3-to-1 reverse stock split in order to increase their share price so that it was in compliance with one of the many things they need to do to get approved for listing on the NASDAQ. So it is their goal to list on the NASDAQ. This was a dramatic course of action for them to take. It certainly would appear they have every intention of doing so. And I can't imagine that it's going to take very long from this point. However, there is no guarantee that that will get approved and that they will get uplisted. One of the problems this company has is there's very little trading volume on a daily basis. So they're looking to get more liquidity. The listing on the NASDAQ will certainly provide that versus being over the counter in the United States. So that's their objective. It looks like they're on track to do so, but there's no guarantees. That is the reason they did their reverse stock split. So when this comes back, you're going to have 1/3 as many shares as you had, but the stock will be 3 times the price. So if you just look, I'm on Yahoo here, and if you just look, this was yesterday's information. So this was Wednesday, October 27th. It closed at $1.56.7. So that left it with a market cap of $117,986,000. So this is a very small market cap Bitcoin mining company. So let's switch over. I want to show you the chart and then show you the news that they had today, because I do believe that good things are happening. I'm holding on to my stock. Again, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you what to do, and you guys shouldn't do it just because I'm telling you anyway. So please do your own due diligence. But hopefully this is on everybody's watch list, because I do think exciting things are happening with this stock. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go to the chart. This is the Canadian chart, because the U.S. chart is kind of frozen due to the circumstances we just talked about. So everybody understand these are in Canadian dollars. I think 0.81 is the current conversion rate between U.S. and Canadian dollars. It's somewhere around there. So it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this conversation. If you look down here, I circled an S right here, and that is on today's date. That S is for their reverse split that they just did. So, that confirms what I'm talking about. They did do a reverse split. We'll look at the press release. So, this now is triple the price that it was yesterday. So it's trading over $6. This was a roughly $2 Canadian per share stock yesterday, $6 Canadian per share stock today. I get a 20-minute lag on this stock ticker. What I'm looking at is it looks like it's down 0.5% on the day. So basically almost exactly flat on the day. And I will tell you, on the day of a reverse stock split, in my opinion, that's actually very good, because a lot of times, even though mathematically it makes no difference whatsoever, a lot of times companies get beat down on a reverse stock split. There's reasons for that. Oftentimes, companies that do a reverse stock split are doing so because they're having big problems and they need to get their share price up. This is a little bit of a different story. These guys are doing a reverse stock split so that they can list on the NASDAQ and increase their liquidity and probably raise some money and continue to increase their operations, which are going well. So basically flat on the day. This is the one-day chart, so each one of these candles is 1 day, and you'll see that I put a yellow line at about $8.20. So if I go through this, you'll see back in February 9th, we hit this number for the first time. We then were there again on March 23rd. We then dropped way down from there and came back up and tested this mark again on May 21st. So that would be the third time that this was at this. Now I circled this one because on August 6th, it almost got to this line. So I'm counting this as a test and rejection at the $8.20 line, even though it only actually got to about $8. All of these prices, again, are adjusted for the 3-to-1 split that occurred today. So to me, this is a very good short-term target. Digihost has visited this point several times. With what they have going on, I am now expecting, this is my short-term price target, $8.20. I expect it to get there. I expect it to flip that into support in the short term. So the short term for me on this one is the next 2 to 4 weeks with a stock split in the middle. I don't know how that's going to complicate things, but ultimately that should shake out because, again, mathematically it makes no difference. So somewhere in the next 2 to 4 weeks, sooner than later, I believe, Digihost will get back to this $8.20 line on the Canadian chart. In the future, when I do these, I will probably be using the HSSHD chart. It's just not operational today due to the stock split. Then I wanted to get to this press release, which they put out today. So this gives some important information. Digihost announces over 6,000 M30 Bitcoin miners received or in transit since mid-October. I'm just going to read a couple of sentences out of here. Digihost Technology is pleased to announce that the company has received 1,040 new technologically advanced high-performance M30 Bitcoin miners, anticipated to be online and fully operational by the end of next week. So this is a next week thing. These new miners are in addition to the 1,952 M30 miners received in mid-October. They did a press release on that a few weeks ago, so those are already received, installed, and operational. So that's 2 big shipments of miners that they've got, because remember, this is only a $117 billion market cap. This is a small company. they spent most of the year operating at 0.2 exahash. So later they go on to say the company's current hash rate of approximately 300 petahash or 0.3 exahash. So to go from 200 to 300, that's a 50% increase right there. Their fourth quarter is going to be their best quarter by far. But that they then go on to say is expected to increase to approximately 500 petahash or 0.5 exahash by the middle of November, representing an approximate increase of 150% since September of 2021. So if you look at this chart, you'll see that this stock is basically unchanged in the months of September and October. So they've drastically increased their mining capacity. They're going to continue to do so. They also have several very large orders and relationships set up so that in the first quarter of 2022, they will dramatically grow their hash rate again. So this is a lot of good news with almost no reaction. In fact, I'm just going to go back and look at the chart because I want to point out, you'll see that on February 22nd, this was trading at $17.61. Obviously, that's adjusted for the stock split, so that wasn't the number, but at an effective rate of $17.61. From today, that represents a 191% increase if they were to get back to their previous high. Now, their operations, as we just saw, are vastly superior right now and continuing to grow, yet they need to increase 191% just to get back to their old highs. But that's not the line that I'm looking at. I'm looking at this $8.20 line, which is my short-term price target, and that is about a 35% upside for it to get back to my short-term price target. And again, this is not financial advice. These are my targets. This is what I think is going to happen. Digihost has visited that price on multiple occasions over the course of the last 6 to 8 months with all the good news that's out right now. And once the dust settles on this reverse stock split, I would expect this to run back to that number. And then again, I'm expecting it to not only run to that number, but create that as a line of support and start to head back towards its all-time high. I'm holding all of my stock. This is not financial advice. You guys have to decide what you want to do with it. And so that's my update on Digihost. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.